They had come not just from Britain, but from all over the world, simply to be close to her and to be part of these final moments. As the tenor bell of Westminster Abbey tolled, under the clear blue morning sky, the gun carriage bore the princess's coffin away from her home at Kensington Palace for the last time, marching alongside the bearers from the Welsh Guards. Until last Tuesday, these men had been on patrol in South Armagh. As the cortege moved into the Mall, outside Buckingham Palace, the Queen and other members of the royal family stood looking on silently. With them, her close friend and former sister-in-law, Sarah Ferguson. A little further down the Mall, at St. James's Palace, were waiting her two young sons, William and Harry, with their father and grandfather. And for the two boys, the beginning of what must have been the biggest public ordeal of the day, the walk behind their mother's coffin for the final slow mile to Westminster Abbey. They were not alone. Behind them, 500 representatives of the charities with which Diana was associated. It took nearly 2 hours from Kensington Palace to the Abbey for the start of a remarkable service to celebrate a remarkable life. It was this hymn, "I Vow to Thee, My Country," which was sung at her wedding to Prince Charles. The Prime Minister, Tony Blair, read from Corinthians.
For now, we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You are the grace that placed yourselves where lives were torn apart.
Elton John sang a specially rewritten version of Candle in the Wind.
And you whispered to those in pain, now you belong to heaven, and the stars spell out your name.
There followed a remarkable and pointed tribute from Diana's younger brother, Earl Spencer.
A very British girl who transcended nationality. Someone with a natural nobility who was classless, and who proved in the last year that she needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic. There is no doubt that she was looking for a new direction in her life at this time. She talked endlessly of getting away from England, mainly because of the treatment that she received at the hands of the newspapers. I don't think she ever understood why her genuinely good intentions were sneered at by the media, why there appeared to be a permanent quest on their behalf to bring her down. She would want us today to pledge ourselves to protecting her beloved boys, William and Harry, from a similar fate. And I do this here, Diana, on your behalf.
The applause was spontaneous, unplanned, and, as with so much else today, it was unprecedented. And as the Welsh Guards bore her outside to the hearse, it had indeed been a unique occasion for a unique person. As Diana moved through the streets of London, heading north to her final resting place on the Spencer estate at Althorpe in Northamptonshire, it seemed as if she had truly become at last the Queen of Hearts.
And it seems to me you've lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. Your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before. Your legend ever will.
Millions of people lined the streets as the cortege passed. Some were able to view the service at Westminster Abbey on large screens erected for the occasion.
Early morning in London saw thousands waking up in their sleeping bags, having camped overnight to ensure they would have a good vantage spot in which to view the proceedings. Even though it had been a cold, damp night, no one seemed to mind. By 7:30, every possible position was taken up along the 2-mile route from Diana's home in Kensington to Westminster Abbey. Those who didn't want to risk missing it went to Hyde Park, where large screens were erected. And it was here that the silence was first broken in earnest, with the hundreds of thousands present rising to their feet after Earl Spencer's moving and pointed speech. The 1900 specially invited guests for the funeral service began arriving at Westminster Abbey shortly after 8 o'clock. Among them were the Princess's special friends. From the world of music, Pavarotti, who looked visibly shaken. Elton John, who sang so movingly, arrived with fellow musician George Michael. From the world of business, airline boss Richard Branson. From international politics, Henry Kissinger. And from the acting world, Tom Conti. Others in attendance included some of her favourite fashion designers, Karl Lagerfeld and Ralph Lauren, actors Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, political wives Hillary Clinton and Bernadette Chirac, filmmaker Richard Attenborough. But this wasn't a day for the famous. It was a day for the ordinary people. And for some, it was all too much.
She was our princess. And she always will be. I wish that my mum was here to see it as well.
Many brought their children so that they could tell them in years to come that they were here.
Diana was a very special lady, I think, to so many people, and I think it's just right that we should pay our